Good morning. Sorry I haven't shaved yet. My eye's still a bit sore from yesterday. I went to the pool though, sort of rinse it. I don't know what upsets it during the night. There's some radar thing on it or something. Or I hope no one gets in my house and puts something in my eye or anything. So I wake up and it's hurting. I think, what's caused that? Have I done this during the night? Shoved my finger in my eye or something? Anyway, I did have a few break-ins at some point because my back door had come home would be open. I'd be like, I lock everything up before I go. Well, it's happened 3 times, so I'm like, yeah, well, I wouldn't do that 3 times. One morning I got up, it was open in my house. I'm like, who's been in my house during the night? Anyway, so it's a constant worry in the back of my mind now, not feeling secure in this place. And it's got a balcony. I mean, how the hell does someone get up there unless they're a parkour artist or whatever, parkour acrobat or whatever? Anyway, it's got a lock on it. I mean, they must have a key. I mean, I was just thinking about, mate, what life would be like without money. The government could fix up the money so it's more generous, and it's what it should be. It shouldn't really be called generosity, but more of a generous spirit rather than a punishing spirit. We don't want to be punished in life. We want to, because it feeds down to the rest of the world. We don't want to be punishing the earth because it's the thing we're walking on. So generosity comes from human beings because the animals depend on us for their lives. We could wipe them off the earth in 5 minutes if there was no compassionate people in the world looking after them. So if we're all that way, it's just something to learn. Like, a lot of people don't learn that when they're young, how to be caring to animals. And, we always had pets growing up and we learned how to... It took me a while because I used to torment my cats and stuff, lock them in cupboards and throw them off things. And, like when I was a little kid, you don't know straight away how to take care of animals. But after a while you think, well, maybe that animal was scared or that hurt that animal. And in the end, I just raised Trigger so well. There's probably one moment where I went a bit over the top and I slapped him for biting. But after that, he never nipped. He thought, oh, well, that's the wrong thing to do. I won't bite. So he's never really bitten anyone since. He did bite a whippet once, just nipped him on the ribs because the whippet was running round and around him really fast. And I hope he's all right, the little whippet. He gave him a nip. But yeah, sometimes he gets cranky, Trigger, because he hasn't been around excuse me, other dogs much, and I think he thinks he's almost human. And the way he talks to me is almost human anyway. He's a little bit stupid, like doesn't have human intellect, but he's got a human heart, I think. So anyway, yeah, getting back to money, if governments or whoever handles money, treasury, or would understand that the bottom line doesn't always tell the truth on their calculations, because when you're generous, other people are generous, So when you show generosity, other people eventually learn that and they show generosity to you as well. So, giving people, in this day and age, what are we getting, 600 a week to live on? It's a bit, these people must be living back in the 80s or something. We're nearly up to, we're nearly up to 2030, we're getting closer to 2030. And, that's a long, long time from the 80s. And we're still on, an income of around that, and not everyone can get up into business. There's only so much business you can really run in a township or a city, before other people can't sort of find their way into it. And without a business, how are you going to afford your mortgage? How are you going to afford to clothe your kids or do all this other stuff, you know? And all these people have aspirations to want to do these things and they can't find the way to do it. And it's not just poor people, you know. Wealthy people can crash and burn too and lose everything. And if they don't know the right way to get back on their feet, they can suffer and die as well. So, you've got all these people doing pornography, you've got all these people doing quick things like crime and drugs and to get money, you know, and it's just turning our society into this swamp, you know. It should be this beautiful garden. And we're living in the Garden of Eden and we're treating it like, it's a shithole, you know. It should be a beautiful kingdom to live in. And all it hinges on is that little bit of money. It's not a lot, a few $1,000s. It's not a lot in the grand scheme of things. There's probably people out there making $1 million a day, you know, not doing much. They just know how to do that, you know, and unless you have the facility to actually get at your own home and feel comfortable and stable, it's going to affect your mental health. It's going to affect your physical health. It's going to affect your spiritual health. It's going to affect your relationships. You end up a loner, just wandering around by yourself, out of the field of view of anyone, just basically wasting your life away. And some people are really important to the landscape. We all have roles to play, you know. We all have roles to play. Some people are heroes, some people are villainous, some people are... it's not always heroes and villains. Sometimes it's just a whole plethora of nice, happy people playing a role in society just to sort of entertain and sort of enrich the world. And there's always people out there who are just pessimists, are just miserable because that's all they've known all their life. They've never had any happiness, so why would they know what it is? So you got to teach people this sort of thing, caring and love, and I've had it taught to me by the people I've met. You know, I've been very lucky. I met my soulmate when I did. If I hadn't met her, I might have died, you know, back then, or I might have gone insane. I might have lost the plot entirely. I just kept in reality the whole time. Just things would happen at the right moment, you know. I went to Darwin, got out of Melbourne. It was sending me around the bend thinking I was surrounded by spirits. And so I got out of Melbourne and went to Darwin. And just as I got there, they set up this day-to-day living drop-in centre. So I went there and that really helped me get better. I got a job there. I got back into working. And I was just lucky that things happened at the right time, I think. And I thank all those people that did all that hard work to set all those things up for us. And there's nothing worse than when a parent, you know, their child might take drugs or do something that sends them crazy, and the parents reject them. You know, they throw them out. They're just used tissue. You know, like. When you hang on to your kids and you love them straight away and you find the answers, you can get them back to normal, you know, in no time at all, you know. Or you can learn to adapt and live with the problem and get around things day by day if it's some kind of physical problem that's happened or a permanent injury. Or with me, it was more... learning too much too soon about the spirit world. It just all come at once, and I was just terrified for a few years. But because of that, it turned a lot of people away from me. So it was like being rejected from your community. And I've sort of, over time, doing the radio, doing other things, doing a bit of work here and there, and just getting around and not caring too much if I'm in a community. I just feel like I'm in a global community now. I just feel like I'm sort of universal. It's sort of how I've dealt with it. I think probably too, everything I went through was just normal in a way without being married. Like I should have probably been married young, like when I was a little kid. I think ultimately I should have met my sweetheart when I was about 12. Because in a way, then I met Tams and she was 12, so it's sort of like I was trying to get back to that spot where things went wrong. I wasn't consciously making a decision, but things would happen to me like that to get back to that spot where I'd missed out on that innocent love at that age, So when I met Tamsin, like I was twice her age. I was 24 and she was 12, and I just felt like I'd met my wife again. Like maybe she got killed when I was 12 or something. So she's come back to say, well, here I am again. I don't like to assume anything because she's a married woman now, so I don't want to bother her. But I just think it's almost like maybe she was on a wheel of karma and I'd stepped off it or something. Maybe I was stepping off the wheel of karma and she's still on it, going around getting murdered or getting killed or getting problems until she realizes, oh, I can go to heaven, I can go off with my soulmate. Maybe I was already at that point, and she hadn't got there yet, or people think it's crazy, but I think that's what it is. You step off the wheel of karma and go off with your soulmate and live off forever somewhere in a different sort of lifestyle. Yeah, it's always felt around the age of 12 I should have met someone. I felt this division happen in my head one day in the garden. I was sitting in the garden at this tap. I felt my life split in two at about age 12. It's like maybe my soulmate got murdered or raped or taken from me or went off with someone else, or I felt something happen when I was about 12. Like this, felt like my world pulled apart, So when I was about 24, I met Tams, and it was like I felt like she was older than me anyway, in her spirit, in her age. I felt like I was with someone a year older than me. It felt sort of comforting, like she was almost like nurturing me, sort of taking care of me or there to sort of help. Or I don't think her mother would have told her to look after me or anything. She was just there we're just making a movie. A friend of mine wanted to make a music video, and I said, oh, I'll make one for you. And I thought, oh, maybe Tams will want to be in it. So I thought she was really pretty and make a good, subject for the video. So that's kind of the catalyst to why I actually met her in a way. I did meet her before that briefly, but we just straight away got along like that, and all the pain in my life disappeared, and it was like I was just staring at my whole future, my whole world. It was really I didn't know she was a soulmate. I didn't know what she was. I thought, what is this person? It's like, is that me or something? I was confused. I thought it was like me in a way. I was sort of like my twin sister or something. It was a funny, weird feeling. Like I didn't know what was going on. Then I started later on thinking, oh, has someone stolen a sperm? And is that my daughter? Is that why I feel so close to her? Is that why she looks like me? Is that why? But maybe we're just, from a similar, because we're both from Scottish backgrounds, maybe we're just similar branch vein from different families that probably should have met long ago sometime. Maybe I was some kind of Highlander and she was some kind of Bonnie girl, and we should have all met up back then or something. Or maybe we did meet back then. We sort of met up again, and I always felt like we did Disney together or something, or did something together at some stage to create this sort of fable that we're almost wrapped up in coming meeting together again. Like she was a bit like that, like when I went to her house and she was like playing, she's like, come play Lion Witch of the Wardrobe with me, and she was like climbing in and out of the wardrobe, and I was supposed to be the prince, someone, or I couldn't sort of do much because I was still going through all that fear, I was just sort of hanging around and couldn't really have much fun. I just wanted to play with her till, we got to the right age to get married, really. Just play like kids again, to regain my happiness. And just, I wish all had been, accepted, and I was trying to be accepted by a family, but no, it didn't work. It would have been lovely to fall in love at that age and go through all these experiences with someone. I could have gone to Sydney with her and played at the beach. I would have ended up going to probably America, maybe done movies or something. We could have been a movie team, or I guess she just had different aspirations than me, and going through mental health, probably wasn't attractive for her. She just thought, oh, we'll help this guy and then not forget about him. I never for once thought about any sort of, foul intentions with her. It was always absolute just worship. Every time I saw her, I just thought, saw ourselves later on getting married, having kids and everything. And, I'd write poetry and cry in my bed and all this stupid stuff. I've always had a pure heart and mind, really, through everything I've been through. So I've never worried about what people thought or anything. But it did take a lot of courage to tell my mum and even her family how I felt. I kept it to myself for ages, but probably went about it all the wrong way. Anyway, getting back to money, I think something happened in the 80s. They cut back the payments on the dole and different payments and different incentives, and sort of brought in Centrelink and sort of capped it off at a certain price. Like we're sort of getting $1,260 or $1,300 a fortnight, which is only about $650 a week, which really, once you take rent out, which rent can be up to $400 or something. What do you got? $200 a week to live on. What can you do with that? You can't really have a car. I've got 2 cars. I can barely run one, but I didn't want to get rid of my truck because it's got all my camp equipment in it, and I nearly couldn't get parts for it. I was nearly going to get rid of it. And so I left it up at Mum's, and I thought I'll buy a new one with my savings. I had a Raise plan. Raise is an app where you can save money, and so I had 5,000 in that. So I said to Mum, can I borrow 1,000 and get this Peugeot I found? And it was a brilliant little car, but I don't know, I think the garage messed with it or something, and it's playing up. It's getting a depollution system fault or something. Unless someone got under my car and pulled a hose off and it's buggered something up or something. But it was a beautiful little car when I got it. So well kept and everything. Anyway, I've got to get it looked at again. The truck's running well. It just needs a new key. Key system's not very good. I try and get it unlocked and it won't work sometimes. And I don't want to get stuck somewhere and I can't open my car, It needs a new key system, I think. But the truck's great. Like, it's got me battery in the back for my solar panels and my fridge and everything. So I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to put all that in the Peugeot because, say you want to go camping, you run into a bit of rain and it gets muddy. At least I've got a 4-wheel drive. It doesn't look like a big fancy one. I don't need all that. I just like the basic thing. But, I'd love a big bloody, what are those new Toyota or something with all the they just cost so much to maintain. You got all the big tires cost bloody, how much does each tire cost? Hundreds of dollars just for one tire. Like these ones are about $250 or something a tire, I think. But I just think if government's generous in their spirit towards money and thinking about our needs, not what their needs are, what our needs are. So we need things in life every day. Your TV might break after a year. You might need a new one or something, or and that costs over $1,000. Not everyone can take care of all that. I'm very good at taking care of what I've got. But any time your computer can go on you need parts, or you need a new computer, or maintaining your car can be expensive if you can't afford a new one. Even just clothing, I can't afford new clothing. I can never buy clothing. Shirts can sometimes cost $100. It's only going to go up and up, and if our payments don't go up and up, what are we supposed to do? I don't really have the experience to get a job. I don't know how to do it. I tried, like this past few weeks, I've sent out, about half a dozen applications. There's only so many jobs out there I can really do. There's lots on there they're not even going to look at me, so I don't bother. But yeah, don't worry about people's skills. Just teach them on the job what to do if they're capable. I mean, I've run a radio show. I've done television. I've done studying electronics. I'm not a dill. I can pick up how to do a ticketing system at the media centre. Just a few weeks, I'd be up to speed. I've used computers all my life. I mean, what more do you need to do? I've set up my own network at home. I've got my own server. I'm even learning coding at school, but yeah, we get no support to get a job or anything. They just leave us sitting here doing nothing, posting on social media. So that makes them a lot of money. So why do they care what happens to the world? They've got their money, but money isn't wealth. Money's not wealth. Money is just an exchange medium. It's not wealth. Wealth is something you actually own, and I've missed out on so much. I believe I actually own the universe now. So that's what you do when you neglect people, when you hurt people who are important, is they end up taking over the universe, and then you resent them for it, But if it wasn't for me, discovering all this stuff happening in the universe and actually putting stuff on social media and spreading a bit of awareness, what hope do we have if people like me who know this stuff don't actually tell anyone? And you're out there blocking it or whatever, or changing my words, or just putting more stress and more worry and more instability and more distrust and all these bad things you're putting out there, for the sake of what? Me meeting a girlfriend or something? I honestly don't understand the mentality of people like that who are so pig-headed about their own needs. They can't see the needs of others. And this world at the moment really needs us. The temperature in the last probably 10 years has climbed a few degrees. And the next few years, if it climbs another 5 degrees, we're screwed. The plants will die. They won't be able to suck up the moisture. So instead of inhibiting people, give people encouragement, help people, be generous. Don't be stingy, don't be suspicious. Help good people. And you'll see that there's so many ways to create wealth, because it's all there for you, but I own it now. I own all the wealth. But I'm willing to share it with good people. I'm not going to share it with evil people who are bad-spirited and just want to hurt everyone. Money to me is just something that comes and goes when you need it. Need to pay a bill, comes, you hand it to that person. It really is pointless, really. It's just a control method from Nazis, really, just to control people. And why do you need to control people in today's society? We're all free. We can do whatever we like, really, with the help of others, We all need food. We can't do all that ourselves unless we go back to hunting and gathering, but industry now. You know, it runs the show, runs all the farming and everything. So, but getting back to that, I can see a world in the future where maybe we don't even really need schools. We can just spend more time with our kids. We don't have to work so much. We can have maybe just more like, one person go off work half a day for the love of it, because they're not trying to earn the money. They're not having to work so many hours doing basically nothing. A lot of people do fuck all day and get paid. Some people work all day hard as fuck and get paid a little bit of money, just to pay the bills. But if you're doing the work you can do in the day and you have all that spare time then to go home, spend time with your kids, your family, doing activities, and the work's getting done out there in the community, you don't actually need money, because you don't need the money to pay the rent, because the people that have the houses are just building them for the love of it, for you to live in them. It goes around in a circle, because then those people get free food from that industry because they've created the food for us. So when you're doing all these things out of the love of it, instead of just for the sake of a fucking bit of paper or a coin or some other shit, that's just there to control people and push them around so they can't really live their dreams, And it's just a hindrance, really, carrying a wallet. Why do we need a wallet? We can just get out the door and go for a walk. Go anywhere. Go up the street. Pick up your shopping. I suppose in the future you could have people just come around and give you stuff. Like this nice lady the other day gave me a loaf of bread at my door, There might be someone who just grows apples that thinks, oh, everyone loves apples. I'll go around and give people 2 apples. Just that's what they do with their life. They grow apples and deliver people to their door. Do you want some apples? Wouldn't that be so nice to meet people like that instead of having to shuffle through a system at the supermarket, and you don't ever get to meet anyone. You don't even get to talk to anyone. There's no immediate urgency to get apples, is there? But if someone came to your door, you could sit and talk a while. Come and have a coffee. You wouldn't even have to lock your doors, really, Then all these cheeky little girls and that could go around playing their games, sneak in and surprise you in bed or whatever they sort of probably dream of doing, With all this money, with all this locking up, with all these keys and fear and danger and jealousy, and basically people commit crime for money. They're basically trying to steal things for money. They're trying to get ahead of other people for money. So that's the problem. That's the problem now. We're not getting enough money to learn to be generous. So then, one day we can enter the age of Aquarius. We don't need it anymore. We don't need control. We can just do things out of love. And love doesn't always have to mean sex. It just means being caring and making other people happy. Sex is where you choose to actually pleasure each other and have children, so it's different. Love is where you embrace someone, give them a hug, give them a kiss and say, let's spend time together and make each other happy today. And, if that later on leads to romantic feelings, fine, but it doesn't have to, So it's a choice two people make at that time to actually spend more time together. And I don't even really believe in marriage. I think it's just another system there to control us. I mean, at a time when people were suffering diseases, it was important to keep 2 people together out of law to keep them from spreading disease. So, but people can get married. It's a nice gesture to say, I want to spend my life with this one person, or maybe marry a few people and create your own little family or community. Anyway, just think about that, government. Don't be pig-headed and say this is all that life's about, because we're getting stuck where everything's the same. And people are walking around bored shitless because there's nothing happening. It doesn't have to mean more technology. It can mean other things. Like I might be able to look out my window out there and see 100 kids climbing trees and think, hey, how you going? Instead of staring at leaves, it might be a whole lot of people out there having a picnic or something, or instead of people up there, throwing cans down and spewing on my balcony. It's that's the difference. Why does it have to be like that? Hurting and upsetting and antagonising and abusing people out of selfishness, which is what we're being taught from government, from our leaders. Why can't it be the other way around and say, here, be generous, be loving, be caring, be thoughtful, be wise, be intelligent, be generous. Peace from the king. That's why I say I was Elvis. I'm the king. Don't take it to heart. Just take it to mind. See, look at my beautiful hair. I know, vain and beautiful. It's so important to be vain, isn't it? Because when you're vain and the world turns into a dust bowl, you can stare at yourself as a piece of dust and think, I know beautiful dust in the wind. Or you can go to heaven and think, oh, that's not important. Being good's important and living on and being a beautiful soul and, oh, well, whatever. It's all there. It's all there. Written in the stars. Peace out.